Hello and welcome to Post to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. Today we're here to talk about the expansion draft. Now recently the NHL made it official, or they released the official list from each team showing the protected and unprotected choices that they've made. We're here to do a mock expansion draft to pick our team as if we were the Las Vegas Golden Knights, or the Vegas Golden Knights, or however you want to say it. Okay, so we're going to go through the defenseman first, and before we begin, I just want to say, I changed my team probably 5 times yesterday, and even just looking at it now, I already know that I want to make some changes. So, I made my picks based on trades that I want to make in the offseason, and I made sure that I came well under the cap, so I could sign some UFAs, and when I made my choices, I took into consideration everything. So the contract duration, how old they were, whether they're a right or left shot defenseman or forward, position, like everything. And I'm sure you did the same. Is there anything you want to say before we begin going into our picks?
Yeah, I just want to say kind of the same thing. I reviewed this, I don't know how many times, I lost count, and I started making changes and so on. And I think you'll notice as we start going through the players that I built out my team strategically different than how you built out yours. But I had good reason for that. Yeah. And once we go through all the players, I'll state why I did that. But just to highlight a little bit, there were some actual rules to this process. Number one being one player from every team had to be selected.
Right.
They had to select 9 defensemen, 3 goalies, and 14 forwards for 26 players. And then they were allowed 4 extras that could have been from any position. However, there had to be, a player from every single team selected.
Exactly. And
so it made it a little difficult.
There's been some confusion out there about UFAs. There's the understanding by some people that if they take say Montreal for example,
right.
If they sign Radulov now, they still have the ability to choose a player off Montreal. That is incorrect. If they sign Radulov, that counts as their pick from Montreal. There's a lot of confusion out there. I just wanted to make that aware.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, let's start off with defensemen, and you can take me through yours first.
Yeah, I'm going to actually rattle these off very quickly. Unfortunately...
Yeah, we're not going to spend a lot of time. We're just
we won't have enough time to go into why we picked every single player.
Maybe a few, but not all of them.
So starting at the top, Adam Mcquaid from Boston, Cody Franzen from Buffalo, Dennis Wideman from Calgary, Jack Johnson from Columbus, Nicholas Kronwall from Detroit, Alexei Emelin from Montreal, Ben Lovejoy from New Jersey, Dennis Seidenberg from the Islanders, and Luka Spiza. Or is it Spiza? Spiza from Vancouver.
You've got some veteran presence in your lineup and your leadership, and if you want that anywhere, the defense corps is usually a place to have it. Yeah,
I wanted a mixture of some younger guys as well as veteran heavy on the blue line, because I looked at it from the perspective of I wanted my new franchise to be competitive from day one. I didn't want to start off in, say, a rebuild mode. I wanted to start with a solid foundation. And I thought, what better place than on the blue line?
Well done. My picks are Toby Enstrom, Marc Methot, Brendan Dillon, Carl Gunnarsson, Ben Lovejoy, Matt Dumba, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, Griffin Reinhart, and Michael Delzato. I tried my best to balance left shot and right shot defensemen, while in taking into consideration their cap hit, as well as getting some young and older guys in there to mend. I had a hard time with Methot because his salary so high is $4.9 million.
Right.
But I felt like his leadership and his experience, his recent experience alone, would be beneficial to the younger guys on the blue line. Anyways, I even just looking at this now, I can see some changes I want to make. But
it's tough.
Yeah,
it really is tough.
All right, let's move on to, let's do the forwards.
All right. So this one's going to be a little longer list since there's 14.
Yes.
Okay. So Patrick Eaves from Anaheim, Radim Verbata. Actually, I'm not even going to state which team they're from. I'm sure most will know. Lee Stempniak, Marcus Kruger, Grigorenko, Cody Eakin, Benoit Pouliot from Edmonton. I think that's going to surprise you.
That surprised me.
Yeah. Jonathan Marchessault. Marchessault?
I think that's how you say it. Yeah.
Thank you. His year this year was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
So, given that, too good to pass up. Martin Hansel, James Neal, Burrows, Michael Raffel, Joel Ward, David Perron from St. Louis.
Boom.
So there's my 14.
Yeah.
I kept my 4 extras separately.
Ooh, interesting. I didn't do it that way. All right, so I have Riley Smith, I have Cody Eakin, I have Jamie McGinn, I have Josh Bailey, Lance Boma, Trevor Lewis, Michael Grabner, TJ Brown, William Karlsson, Kirby Reichel, I think that's how you say his name, William Carrier, Charles Hudon, Brian Rust, Colton Sissons, Patrick Eves, Brendan Gaunce, and Mikhail Grigorenko. Grigorenko.
Yeah.
All right, so I can see lots of changes I want to make in here as well, but I spent probably an hour picking my forwards based on the line combinations that I wanted to use. I'm not going to say them, but I spent a long time, and I struggled here because I chose Brian Rust from Pittsburgh, but I also wanted Marc-Andre Fleury. But then I got thinking, well, I wanted players that I could potentially deal in the future, and I wanted to be well under the cap, so I was really cap conscious. So that's probably going to surprise a lot of people that I didn't take Fleury, but anyways, it is what it is. All right, you ready for the goalies?
I'm ready.
Hit me with them.
Flurry, Marc-Andre Fleury. Number 1, I think it would be a real shock at this point if Vegas didn't target him. Peter Budaj and Antti Ranta.
Yep.
Or is it Ranta?
People say it differently. I say Antti Ranta.
Ranta? Yeah. I think that sounds better. Let's go with Antti Ranta.
All right. Who would be your starter there?
Oh, easily Marc-Andre Fleury. Yeah. I mean, come on. He's won 3 Stanley Cups. Obviously, he wasn't in goal, the previous 2.
Yep.
But in 2016, if it wasn't for his stellar regular season, they wouldn't have went on to win the Cup in 2016. And this past year, if it wasn't for him coming in after the Murray injury early on, they wouldn't have repeated as Stanley Cup champions. He's still got it. He does.
All right. I'm okay with that. My picks were Peter Mrazek, Eddie Lack, Malcolm Subban, and Philip Grubauer. Now, I chose this combination of goalies because I would probably choose Mrazek to start. I'd have Grubauer as my backup, and I'd probably use Malcolm Subban as trade bait, and also potentially Eddie Lack as trade bait as well, and bring in a lower-tiered goalie for that third-ranking goalie. And if Peter Mrazek didn't work, then I would be confident with Grubauer. He's young. He's still an RFA. He played great for Washington. And, yeah, that's... My goalies are a little risky, but, yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, so for my 4 extras, this is where I wanted to kind of inject a little bit of veteran presence into the team in order for guys to really just come into the franchise and start to basically take it over as their own.
Yep.
And I think you would really get that from a veteran group. Dustin Brown, Brian Boyle, which to me was the number 1 I would want to take from Toronto. When I saw his name on there, I thought, wow, Brian Boyle.
He was unprotected?
Man, you can't go better than that. Yep.
I don't remember seeing his name.
Jay Beagle from the Washington Capitals. That one was just a shock too. And Toby Enstrom from the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, Toby Enstrom.
Love Toby Enstrom. Now, I just wanted to end by saying that obviously looking at the players that I selected, this is well over cap. Now, the reason for that is I was looking at it from their perspective of, okay, what's a way that we can, from day one, solidify ourselves for the future? Well, one, have a mixture of some younger guys as well as veteran heavy presence, as well as have a lot of other big names in play in order to create kind of a trade frenzy before July 1st. And, some of these guys become restricted free agents. Perhaps you could trade away their rights for a second or a third rounder, or just having these guys in your organization. That's some huge trade bait, and load up on draft picks for the next several years.
All right,
that's what I'd be targeting.
I like reasoning. I don't think you're wrong. I definitely went a different route. I remember the Vegas peoples saying that they wanted strong, young, fast players. So I kind of had that mindset while going through it. And I only have 6 players, 30 or above. All the rest are in their 20s. So I tried to stay as young as possible, and I think I'm about 22 or 23 million under the cap. So
That's
I have lots of wiggle room to sign UFAs, to make trades and stuff. So that's kind of my reasoning. You explained your reasoning. You probably don't think you're right. I don't think I'm right. We just do it for fun.
It was a lot of fun,
to
be honest.
Yeah, we're not saying that these are official, this is what Las Vegas should do. This is just what we would do. So don't get too upset if we didn't choose your player or whatever. If your list is different than ours, it's just for fun.
Neil was putting together his Vegas draft list and wanted to know if I had time to throw in a list of my own. So here I am. It's Brent. Now, to do this, I had to take several runs at it. The first time I did my draft, I was well below the minimum cap size. I needed to draft more expensive players, so I went back to the drawing board and drafted some more expensive players. I also had to handle those who were under contract through 2017 and all the other jiggles and juggles that you have to do. So George McPhee's job, I thought it was quite easy at start, but now that I've done it myself, I don't envy George McPhee at all. He's got a lot of very hard choices to make and a lot of different ways he can go. So here we go. First, we'll start with defenseman. For me, I picked Matt Dumba. He is $2.5 million, only 22 years old, one of my more expensive players. I like Matt Dumba a lot, so I would choose him. Then I also, from the LA Kings, got Braden McNabb. I got Colin Miller from the Boston Bruins. I picked up Kevin Connaughton from the Arizona Coyotes. I picked up Josh Manson from the Anaheim Ducks. Trevor Van Riemsdyk from Chicago. Greg Pateryn from Dallas. And you'll see a few players in here that used to be Montreal Canadiens. And I know more about those players because that's my team, so I've watched them more often. So you'll see the Greg Pateryns and Jacob Delarose and people like that. Also have Dylan DeMello coming in from San Jose and Justin Falk from Buffalo. So those are my defensive core. Next, I'll have a look at forwards. And I used the cap-friendly page to do this, and I found it very friendly. Okay, we have Troy Brouwer from Calgary. What I tried to do here is I'm going through my forwards. I tried to balance centers, left wingers, and right wingers. And then, of course, balance the money as well. So there's lots of intricacies here you have to try to worry about. From there on, I have UC Jokinen. I picked up Benoit Pouliot from Edmonton. Matt Reed from Philly. Casey Kazikas from the New York Islanders. Alexander Burrows from Ottawa. These are players in descending order of salary, by the way. The top, Brouwer being $4.5 million. Now, where was I? Matt Calvert from Columbus. Luke Glendening from Detroit. I've always liked him. Jay Beagle from the Washington Capitals. Devontae Smith-Pelly from New Jersey, another former Canadian that I don't think was there long enough for me to really get to like him, but I liked what I saw for the short time he was there. Joachim Nordstrom from Carolina. Dmitry Yaskin from the St. Louis Blues. Also Jason Magna from Vancouver. Mika Salomaki from Nashville. Jacob Delarose, there he is, from the Montreal Canadiens. Jasper Fest from the New York Rangers. Mikhail Grigorenko from Colorado. And Scott Komaschuk from the, I guess that's the Winnipeg Jets. Some of these players are essentially developed players or developmental players that are playing in the minors right now, because you're picking 30 teams, but you're only going to be putting 20 or 22 players on the ice on game one. Some of your players are going to be held in reserve, so you can't just pick all the best players on all the best teams. Plus, you can't afford that. And finally, down to my goalies. Everybody's been talking about how to do this, so I guess I'll play along. Marc-Andre Flurry from the Pittsburgh Penguins, $5.75 million. He's going to be a pretty expensive player in my team, but a great way to start off. Also, I picked up Antoine Bibeau from the Toronto Maple Leafs. He is in the minor leagues, but he's got some good experience, and I liked the little bit I've seen so far. And also Kristers Gidieskis from the Tampa Bay Lightning as a minor league goalie as well. Clearly, I would be playing Flurry most of the time. I think Bibeau is ready to be the backup, and the other goalie can be held in reserve for injuries or to further develop in the minor leagues. So that's my team. The overall totals of this, my cap hit on this mixture of players is $48.337 million, which puts me over the minimum, which is great. And that also leaves me $24+ million of cap space. I'm going to be drafting, I think, fairly early in all rounds of the NHL entry draft. And I'm going to have a lot of money, millions of dollars to play with if I want to do some jiggling and signing after this craziness is all over with. So those are my Vegas Golden Knights. All 30 teams have been picked from. I've got 30 players. I'm pretty happy with them, and I don't think they're costing me too much money if I'm George McPhee.
All right, let us know down below in the comments maybe what your whole team is. I know that's kind of a large task to do, but if you want to do it, we definitely would love to see your team. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you're new to this channel, I hope you hit the subscribe button because we're making a ton of hockey content. All right, we'll see you in the future. Adios.